It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of October 8th, 2004. Only 3 movies to look at today, but some notable movies. One of them is really good, the others, not so much. Let's go ahead and start with that good movie, though. It is the biggest new release of the weekend, and it is Peter Berg's Friday Night Lights. So the film takes place in Odessa, a small town in Texas, which is racially divided and economically dying. But there is one night that gives the town something to live for, Friday nights, and that's when the Permian Panthers have a big winning tradition in Texas high school football, led by quarterback Mike Winchell and superstar tailback James "Booby" Miles, who's played by Derek Luke. But all is not well. As Booby suffers a career-ending injury in the first game of the season, hope is lost among citizens of Odessa and for the team, but Coach Kerry Gaines, played by Billy Bob Thornton, believes that perfection is being able to look your friends in the eye and know you did everything you could to not let them down. It's somehow able to help the team rise up from the ashes, make a huge season comeback, and now they're on the way to state. The Panthers must go out and be perfect because they may never matter that much for the rest of their lives. And this is, of course, based off the book by H.G. Buzz Bessinger. I think it's, H.G. Bessinger, who wrote the book of the same name, Friday Night Lights, A Town, a Team, and a Dream. And it takes place in the 1980s. And it's a really good movie, and it works because of the great cast they have involved in here. You know, Billy Bob Thornton is great as Coach Gaines. Derek Luke is great in here playing Booby Miles. Great cast also includes Jay Hernandez, Lucas Black, Garrett Hedlund. Tim McGraw has a really good performance in this movie. Lee Thomas Young from the famous Jet Jackson. Connie Britton, who would later go on to play Kyle Chandler's wife in the television series, which I'll get to in just a second, but also, Amber Heard is in here. There's just a lot of great talent involved in here. It's a really good, uplifting storyline that just works because it feels like small town America done right. I mean, it's a movie that feels very authentic. It feels like it doesn't feel like a traditional sports movie where it just kind of goes into very familiar territory. It does, but it never really ruins the ebb and flow of the movie, and it really does it much better than I think most movies of this type actually do. And I think it helps that you have a great director in Peter Berg, who also did The Rundown before this, and he's shown that he's got a knack for directing movies of quality like this. I mean, this is a film that really works on a number of different levels. It's a film that's very impressively put together. It features a fantastic cast led by Bob Thornton, and it's just a great story in general that led to a really great television series in the long run. Of course, this led to the critically acclaimed Friday Night Lights, which has Kyle Chandler in the title role, and I don't think he's not playing the same character from. Well, he's a different character, but it's funny because Connie Britton plays his wife in that show as well, just like she does in the movie to Billy Bob Thornton's character. So it's a very interesting contrast between the movie and the television show, where you have two very different actors playing very different roles, but the same actress is playing pretty much the same role in both the movie and the TV show. Obviously, the TV show better adapts the character more in this case, but that show features a terrific cast of young talent that would go on to become famous. Amy T. Garden, Scott Porter, Micah Kelly, of course, Michael B. Jordan, Zach Gilford, Jesse Plemons, Taylor Kitsch, Adriana Palicki. Just a phenomenal show. Just a show that has to be seen as must-watch television. It's a movie where, I mean, it really is a TV series that is pretty much the equivalent to something like MASH, where you have a great movie, but you have a great TV series that could be considered one of the best television shows of recent memories. It's that good of a show. It's just a very good show in general. I definitely recommend the show, especially, even if you've never seen the movie, which you should see the movie, because it is one of the best sports movies I've seen in a long time. I think it works great with the storyline, works great with the characters, just a really good sports movie. I can't recommend it enough. Friday Night Lights, I can't recommend it enough. Just easily check it out. Check out the movie, check out the show, check out everything. It's definitely worth the watch. Not worth the watch is our next movie, which is Jimmy Fallon in one of his two main lead outings after leading Saturday Night Live. He teams up with Queen Latifah in the action comedy Taxi. I think some people probably feel the same way about Jimmy Fallon right now. They feel like Queen Latifah. Are you okay? Yeah. damn. But I'm not that type. I'm not that person. I mean, I don't like what he's done with the Tonight Show in the last couple of years. But Jimmy Fallon started off pretty good on there, and then just as the show has gone on, it's gone completely down the rails. But yeah. Would you also believe that this is a movie that's based on a French film by Luc Besson? Would have never gotten that from this movie. This is of course Taxi, and no, it's also not based off the television show, the classic '70s TV show with Tony Danza and Danny DeVito. Which I thought that this was that when I first saw the trailers for this, but no, anything but that. But you have Jimmy Fallon starring as an incompetent New York City police officer who's banned from driving and comes to rely on a talented taxi driver to help him solve a series of bank robberies played by Queen Latifah. They team up to fight down a group of Brazilian bank robbers, all supermodels, which I think is kind of a fun concept there. But they find out how the gang transports the stolen money. The detective is then fired, but they go on to confront the gang, and of course, chaos and hilarity ensues. Or at least that's what you think for this movie. It's your typical buddy cop movie, and like I said, there are some fun ideas. Like, I like the ideas that the bad guys are actually these gorgeous Brazilian models led by Gisele Bündchen, which I think is very funny because okay, maybe she is Brazilian. I did not think that. I thought she was Italian for some reason, but no, she's a Brazilian model, so I guess that makes sense. But that's kind of funny. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie is not, and it's a shame because this is also written by Robert Ben-Garant and Thomas Lennon, the guys from Reno 911. So how do you not make this work when you've got the guys behind Reno 911, Tim Story, who did a pretty good movie in Barbershop before this? I mean, Queen Latifah can be very funny in movies like this, but it just kind of falls into the same trappings as most of these buddy cop movies. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know there's going to be some kind of double cross at some point. The villains aren't that impressive to look at, except for the fact that they've got these gorgeous bodies and they're models. I mean, it's basically the one joke they have to work with here. And Jimmy Fallon, I don't want to say he's the worst thing about the movie. It's just the movie is not really giving him a whole lot to do. And we'll see with his next movie that he does 6 months later, Fever Pitch. Fallon had a potential to be a really good actor. He's great in that movie, Fever Pitch, but here he's just playing the Billy Crystal role. You know, he's playing the straight guy role. Like, he's playing that guy that's teamed up with this, this person who plays by their own rules. I mean, it's not really a cop in this situation; it's a taxi driver. But once in that trailer, like, there's fun elements in there too, like the scene where he's like, police officer, I'm going to use your car, and he causes that big car crash. That's funny. Where I think the real red flags start to take shape is when he goes into the taxi, and the taxi all of a sudden turns into something that Exhibit would have done to Queen Latifah's car in Pimp My Ride. I mean, it's like, it gets to that ridiculous levels, and it's just like, at that point, there's no turning back, because the movie really struggles to get anywhere, and it doesn't work because you can't buy into the chemistry between Latifah and Fallon. The bad guys aren't that interesting in general, despite that one thing that's keeping it from staying somewhat of a clever idea. But even that idea gets stale pretty quickly early on, and it's just like, there really is nothing there, man. I've never seen the Luc Besson movies that these are based off of, but I'm pretty sure they're much more clever and much more smarter than what this movie was. I feel like this was just a movie that takes place with a taxi, and they said, let's buy the rights to the Luc Besson film so we can use that name for our movie. I mean, it's probably an in-name title-only remake. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the remake to this, so I can't really say for certain, but I'm pretty sure the Luc Besson movies are probably much better than this. This just didn't work very well. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's one of the things that kind of caused Fallon's career as a film star to really go careening off the hill pretty quickly, but he would at least have one good movie, as we'll get to later on in 2005 with Fever Pitch, but this is not a good start for him, per se, So yeah, that's Taxi. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie we have here, Hilary Duff and Raise Your Voice. Hilary Duff's best film, huh? I don't know, I kind of liked her in Cheaper by the Dozen. Cheaper by the Dozen is a better movie. Cinderella Story wasn't a great movie, but at least it was trying. Agent Cody Banks was pretty fun. Hell, I'll even take the Lizzie McGuire movie at this point, but best movie from her yet? I don't see it. I mean, this is nothing but a watered-down version of Fame, and not even a good version of Fame, to be quite honest with you. The film stars Hilary Duff in a movie where, after a tragic family event, she follows her dreams and attends a performing arts school to help build her career. Along with some new friends, she does her best to push herself to get what she wants to and where she wants to go, and continue the memory of a family member. So, it's essentially the same movie that we saw with Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, except mixed in with a little bit of fame. Except, I'd rather watch Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, and I will certainly take fame more than this piece of garbage right here. I mean, this is a terrible movie with too many good, talented people involved in here. You got Hilary Duff, who we've seen can be a really good actress in movies. Rita Wilson, I mean, she's been good in some stuff, too, a lot of stuff too. David Keith, Jason Ritter, of course, he's a Dipper on Gravity Falls, and I've seen him in much better things than this. Rebecca De Mornay, John Corbett, James Avery, Kat Dennings. I mean, a lot of good talent in this movie, and they're really not given a whole lot to do. This feels like a movie that's a Disney Channel movie blown up for the big screen. And wouldn't you know it, the director of this movie has directed a ton of Disney Channel original movies, along with movies that are absolutely horrible. This is Sean McNamara, the guy that gave us such wonderful movies as Casper, A Spirited Beginning, Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain, Punks, the Even Stevens movie, The Cutting Edge, Going for the Gold, and his magnum opus, Bratz. That should tell you all you need to know about how bad this director is. This is, what do I gotta say, man? This is not a good movie by any means necessary. This is just a lazy remake of lazy modern day remake of Fame, which somehow is even worse than the actual modern day remake of Fame that they did later on in the decade, which was still pretty bad. But you know what? I'd rather watch that than watch this garbage again. Just no. This is not her best film. Hilary Duff's been in a lot better movies than this. Just avoid this one like the plague, plain and simple. And so on that pleasant note, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. We'll head into the middle of the month on the next episode with only 2 movies to look at. We have the South Park creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, with their second big screen effort after South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. A much different movie than South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. The puppet movie Team America World Police, which is not quite as good as South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, but does that mean it's a bad movie? We'll wait to see what happens on there. But we also have Shall We Dance with Richard Gere, Susan Sarandon, and Jennifer Lopez. 2 movies we'll take a look at next time around. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, but until then, as always, take care.